Hello. Welcome to the second lecture of the architectural course, where we will focus on the design of levels and the relationship between layered walls and slabs. Additionally, we will create staircase symbols and edit railings on the floor plan. However, before we start working, let's see how we can manage levels in ARCHLine.XP. You can find the level manager at the bottom of the status bar by clicking on the name of the ground floor when the 2D view is active. By default, the program creates 4 levels, and we can insert additional levels above and below them, or delete them. Here, you will find the commands for copying and moving elements to another level. Now that we have familiarized ourselves with the level manager, let's begin our work. We will copy the walls and openings created on the ground floor to the first level to establish the architectural elements there. First, I will select the necessary part of the floor plan, then click on the level manager and choose the Copy Objects to Other Floor command. I need to select the level to which I want to copy the selected elements. I will choose the first level and confirm with OK. Thus, the copy has been created on the first level. The levels can be managed independently. We can switch between levels using the blue arrows. To go down one level, I press the downward arrow, and to go up, I use the upward arrow. Currently, we are on the second level. We don't see anything here, because we haven't created anything. Let's go back to the first level. Let's take a look at the building in 3D as well. Let's continue working on the floor plan, and remove unnecessary elements. We don't need the interior partition walls, the entrance door, or the staircase, so I will delete them. I will select these elements by making a left to right rectangular selection. I delete the unwanted elements with X. Let's go back to 3D to show you something. I want the thermal isolation layer to meet the lower plane of the slab. Currently, it is not happening, so I need to adjust the base offset property of the wall layer. To do this, I go back to the floor plan and select a wall that I will modify. Let's take this upper wall as an example. Using the pencil, I will access the Properties dialog, where we can adjust the base offset of the wall layers. Currently, the top of the load-bearing layer is selected, but I will change it to the insulation layer. I click on the small arrow and choose the Edit option. This small diagram will help us. Here, we can see that currently, the insulation layer is connected to the top of the load-bearing layer. Instead of this, I set it to the bottom of the structure, so that the bottom of the slab and the bottom of the isolation will be in the same plane. I accept it with OK, and confirm all the windows. Let's see the result in 3D. We can see that the bottom of the slab is now connected to the bottom of the isolation layer. This adjustment needs to be done for the other walls as well. To do this, I go back to the floor plan and select the wall on which I have already made the modification. Then, in the Copy Properties dialog, I specify which parameters I want to copy. I choose only the elevation. I select the walls and press Enter to confirm. The modification is visible in the 3D model. I can remove the line between the levels by rebuilding the 3D view. The next step is to create an opening in the slab, above the staircase. The staircase comes up from the lower level, the ground floor, but there is no opening in the slab here, so we need to add it. I go back to the floor plan view, go down to the ground floor, and select the staircase. From the staircase's local menu, I choose the command to cut the slab above the staircase, and the program creates the opening. Let's see it in 3D. Now, we can go up the stairs from the ground floor to the first level. We will edit the opening in the slab. I go up to the first level, select it, and modify it to have a completely rectangular opening. I click on the edge marker of the slab, and choose the Offset command. I pull it in until here, and then delete the unnecessary node. Now we have a completely regular opening in the slab. The next thing we need to set is the symbolic representation of the staircase on the first level, because we need to visualize the staircase here as well. To do this, I will go down to the ground floor and select the staircase. Then, by clicking on the Level Manager, I will choose the Copy Object to Other Level command, and copy the staircase to the first level. It will appear in 3D as well, but we don't need that. We only need to preserve its representation in the floor plan. To do this, I will go into the Staircases Properties dialog, and uncheck the 3D Creation option in the Support tab. Let's also see what kind of representation we need for the staircase on the first level. We can set this in the General Properties. We need to set it to No Section Line, because from first level, we want to see the staircase on the ground floor. We can also ensure that there are no cuts in the walls. I accept it with OK. If we look at the 3D view, the 3D model is no longer visible, but we can see its representation in the floor plan. We still need to make some modifications to the representation, because we created a rectangular opening in the slab. This part of the staircase, the first 2 steps, will not be visible. So, we need to edit it. I select the staircase, and choose the command Edit Stair Symbol Components, from the local menu. I click on the staircase and choose Component Mode. I enter the group, and simply select and delete these steps. I also modify the length of this line. Then I right-click on any element of the staircase and choose the command for closing the group. This way, we can exit the group and see the modified symbol. Our next task is to create partition walls. We will use a completely different method than the partition walls on the ground floor, where we imported the DWG drawing and used it as a reference. Now, however, we will use the Wall tool to draw the walls. On the left side, I will select a wall style, specifically the one-layered 10-wide wall. I simply select it, and I can start drawing the walls. I start by drawing the first wall from here. As you can see, there is a dark blue line in the middle of the wall, which is the wall reference line. We can change this reference line either here on the menu bar, or by pressing the space or F5 key, as the program suggests. Like this, we can position the reference line to the right, center, or left. This position is fine for now, and I will draw the wall up to the partition wall. So, I bring the cursor here, but I don't click. In this case, the program assists with alignment lines. Now I can place the wall with a single click. Another helpful feature is holding down the Shift key, which locks the direction, ensuring we don't create slanted walls. We can also create walls with automatic dimensioning. We can enable or disable this with the Automatic Wall Dimensioning command. Let's enable it and see how it works. I select the Wall tool again, choose the one-layered 10-wide wall style, and draw another wall from here. Again, I need to change the reference line. The new wall will extend up to the main wall with the indentation, so I bring the cursor here. The program immediately draws the alignment line. I zoom in a bit and click here. We can see that automatic dimensioning is created. We don't need it now, so I will delete it and turn off automatic dimensioning. Let's continue drawing the walls. I will do this again with the Wall tool, and I will continue here. I need to create a separate bathroom. I will define it from this left corner point. I can do this by being in the Wall command, selecting the Reference Point command, and specifying the distance from this left corner point, where the wall should start. It will be 1660 millimeters. I accept it with Enter, and now, I can draw the wall from that specified point. I can also specify the length of the wall. I enter the desired value, 1600, and then press Enter. This way, I can draw a wall of that length in the direction I move the cursor. The next length value is 2700. Enter. Then I close this space vertically. Now the bathroom is complete. I will also draw another horizontal wall across the entire width of the building. I will also use the reference point. So, I select the reference command and place the wall from this upper right corner at a distance of 4620 millimeters. I will draw it horizontally from here. Finally, I will draw one more wall vertically, in the middle of this wall. The program assists with this. When I bring the cursor here, it shows the midpoint of the wall, and I can draw the wall from there. I will switch the reference line to center it precisely. Now the partition walls are complete. We can continue with placing the doors. First, let's set their properties. I right-click on the door tool, and choose the Properties command. Here we can specify the type of door to be placed. Let's use a flush interior door, with dimensions of 900 by 2100 mm. Its thickness will be 100 mm, and we'll set the distance from the wall to 0, so it aligns with the wall plane. Once I'm done with the settings, I accept them by clicking OK. We will place the door using the Door Place Door command. When we worked on the ground floor, we placed the door using 2 points, but now, we don't have a DWG drawing imported. I will place a door on the right vertical wall, and another one on the opposite side. I will place 2 doors here. I place the first one, and specify the opening direction. I do the same for this side. And for the last door, I will place it on this wall, 800 mm away from the right exterior wall. The placement of the door also depends on which reference point we select. As we can see, the green pencil indicates the reference point. We can change it in the same way, either using the next reference point, or pressing the space key. If I select the left side, I can specify the distance from the left, and if I choose the right side, I can specify the distance from the right. I enter the value, 800. Then I specify the opening direction. With this, we have completed placing the doors. I need to modify the doors in the bathroom, because they should be 750 mm wide, instead of 900 mm. I could simply click on the door, and change its width to 750 mm. But let's explore a useful feature called variants. I select the door, and click on the pencil. We can see a folder icon appearing, indicating that multiple variants of this door type have been created. I click on it, and can choose which variant to work with. Let's select the 750 by 2100 mm variant. I accept it with OK. I will copy the properties of this door to the other door. I select the door, choose the Copy Properties command, and select the 750 mm width. Then I click on this door and accept it with Enter. This way, the door is modified. I click on the door and change its distance from the wall to 0. Next, we will place the windows that deviate from the ground floor plan. I will copy this window. I select the window, right-click, and choose the Create Similar command. With this, an exact copy of the window with the same properties will be created. I will change the reference point so that it aligns with the center of the wall. I will modify its properties, on the left side in the Properties menu. Its width will be 700 mm, height 1200 mm, and the sill height will be 900 mm. I accept it with Enter. Then I copy the window again, and place it on the inner side of the wall here, so that the handle is in the correct position. Let's proceed with creating the balcony, which we will do here, at the sliding door. Before creating the balcony with the slab tool, let's set its properties. I need to set its thickness, base offset, and material. The base offset will be 0, and the total thickness will be minus 300 mm, indicating that it will extend below the floor level. The material will be bright white, selected from the project materials. I accept it with OK. We will draw the balcony using the slab in sketch mode command. I start from here, and it will protrude 1500 mm from the main wall plane. It will be 3500 mm wide, and I finish drawing it with a perpendicular closing command. This way, I only need to provide the first 3 clicks, and the program will automatically close the slab. Thus, the balcony is easily created. Let's view it in 3D. The next step is the flat roof, above the driveway. We will draw it, using the slab in sketch mode command as well. First, let's set its properties, because the flat roof will consist of 2 parts. There will be the actual roof, and a decorative layer on top. So, the base offset will be -300 mm, and the total thickness will be -100 mm. The material will be concrete 3. I accept it with OK. Let's start drawing. The roof will extend across its full width and protrude 1,850 mm from the wall plane. I accept it with Enter, and again, I use the perpendicular closing command to complete the shape. It's done. We will create another decorative slab on top of this. I set its properties as well. The base offset is -200 mm. The total thickness will remain -100 mm. And the material will be bright white, matching the color of the building. I accept it with OK. And then we will draw it along the contour of the slab. I select the upper decorative slab and increase its dimensions by 100 mm on all sides. I click on it and choose the Offset All command. I move the cursor outward and enter the value, 100. I will offset it back to the outer layer, up to the edge marker from the exterior wall. I click on the edge marker and choose the Offset command. My goal is to make this slab reach the main wall plane, so I will add additional nodes. I click on the edge marker and choose the Insert Node command. And by clicking on the edge marker between the 2 nodes, I can use the offset to pull the slab to this point. I will do the same on the opposite side. Let's see it in 3D. Now that we have finished drawing the slabs, let's create a railing for the balcony. I will this on the floor plan. We can do this with the Building Railing command. Here, I can select different styles. I choose the glass railing with frame style from the side menu, and draw the railing along the contour of the slab. I accept it with Enter, and then press Enter again to create the railing. Let's see it in 3D. I will lower it by 100 mm. I select the railing, and either set its base offset to -100 mm, or graphically, by clicking on the blue upward arrow, and choosing the Move command. I start moving it downward, along the vertical line, and enter 100, then accept it with Enter. I also modify its material. There are multiple ways to do this. By selecting the pencil, I enter its properties and, on the Panels and Bars tab, I choose the glass element. I modify its material by clicking on the reference. I click on the Edit button, select Glass 26 here, and choose the Modify command. From the project library, I select the blue glass O2 material and accept it with OK. Now, we can see that the material has changed. If I click OK again, we will have the modified railing. Next, we will create the columns, next to the staircase, that will serve as both space dividers and railings. I will do this on the floor plan. I go down to the ground floor, and here, we can see where we need to place these columns. But before placing them, let's switch to a different view to see the work in 3D. In the View menu, by choosing Define View by 2 points, I will create a view. I specify the camera location with the first point, and the target location with the second point. We will place these columns using the Building Column command, but first, I will set its properties. The cross-section will be rectangular, with a width of 50 mm and a height of 100 mm. I will specify the bottom left corner as the reference point. What also needs to be set is the base offset, which will be 675 mm. and the height will be 5,100 millimeters. I will set the material to be a wooden floor, which we have already used in the project. I activate the same materials option, and turn off the slab roof cutting. I accept it with OK. I activate the floor plan view, and now, I can place the column using the column command. I will start with its bottom left reference point. I adjust the view a bit, and now we can see that it's done. Now I will duplicate it along this path. I select the created column and click on the Move marker. I choose the Multiple Copy with Total Distance command. I need to specify how many elements I want to create from it. Let's say 12. I accept it with OK, and specify the reference point. Let's choose the top left reference point, for example. Let's see it in 3D. We can see that these dividing columns are created. I can hide the editing lines by rebuilding the 3D view. Finally, we will create the closing slab. I will switch back to an axonometric view to see the building from the outside. And we will work on the floor plan. We will copy the slab from the first level to the second level. So, I go up to the first level and find the slab. If it's difficult to select it, because there are too many elements stacked on top of each other, we can select it from this jump list. Clicking on the Level Manager, I choose the Copy to Other Level command and select the second level. I accept it with OK, and the closing slab is created. We need to modify it and remove the hole. I click on the slab and choose the Delete Hole command from the local menu. Let's also modify the material of the slab. On the floor plan, I select the slab and choose a different material instead of the top material. It will be a bright white. We also need to set the outer edge of the slab to meet the outer side of the isolation layer. I do this on the floor plan. I enable the visibility of first level, so we can align the outer contour of the slab with it. By clicking on the arrow next to the Level Manager, all levels are displayed, and the active level is marked with a check mark. The other levels are represented by a light bulb symbol, currently turned off. If I click on the light bulb symbol before the first level, it will turn on. Then, I click on the floor plan, and we can see the walls, openings, and elements on the lower level. We can modify the display settings by clicking on the gear icon in the settings. Currently, the inactive building color is green. I change it to light gray. Now, the program marks the elements on the inactive level with a pale gray color, and the elements on the current level with black. We can see the elements on the first level, but we can't select them. However, we can refer to them. If I click on the contour of the slab, using the Offset All command, I will pull the slab to the outer side of the insulation. I will modify the shape of the slab at the two indents. I select the slab, and use the offset to pull the two indents to the outer plane. Then I click on the unnecessary node, and delete it. With this, we have completed the design of the closing slab, and the creation of the first level. I hope this presentation was helpful to you, and I look forward to having you with me in the next session, where we will focus on editing the roof structure and firewalls. Until then, have a great day. Goodbye.